Hey, this is Open Mailbox. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pretty simple Rust mod that allows a player to set a home and then instantly teleport to that home from anywhere else on the map. So let's get started. So I have a Visual Studio project. I have references set up to all of the libraries I need from Oxide, as well as the Unity Engine DLL. If you don't know how to get this far, check out my prior video on Intro to Rust mod programming. But anyways, once you have this basic class set up, inheriting from Covalence plugin, first thing we're going to see when we copy this plugin into the server directory is we'll see a very simple mod initialized message. And we can make sure that that works by just copying that into the place where my server is running. And then in the server itself, we can see recall mod initialized, which was the message that we stuck right there. We're actually going to need some imports here. We're going to need system collections generic. So let's create a instance variable for this class, which is what we'll use to store the locations of the players, the homes that they set. So this is going to be a dictionary where the keys are strings and the values are a generic position type. I lied. We are going to need one other import, Oxide core libraries covalence. So this generic position type is a type provided by the Oxide Oxide framework. So instead of having to deal with like vector 2, vector 3 Unity specific data types for positions, Oxide kind of wraps that up in a generic position type, which is kind of nice. So you don't really need to import Unity Engine DLLs directly, at least for what we're going to do. So the dictionary is going to have a key as a string, value as a generic position. We're going to call this thing homes, and we'll just initialize this. So the first thing we want to do is have a command to allow a player to set their home to whatever their current location is. So let's make a new function. We'll call this command set home. We're going to have a little directive here with what the actual in-game command is going to be. So in-game you'll type /set home to run this command. So how do I know that that I'll have access to these arguments? How do I know that the player, the command, and the arguments are getting passed into this function as parameters? So if you go to the Oxide documentation under the API, click on commands, you get a little stubbed out method here explaining exactly what you need to do to set up a basic command. So very simple. When the player types this command, we are going to associate their player ID with their current position. And then let's also show them just a quick message. So again, how do I know that the iPlayer interface here has an attribute called ID and a position function that I can call, and also a reply function for that matter? If you've imported the DLLs the way I showed in the prior video, then you can actually just go directly to the definition of this interface. And I can find right here, I have a string, I have an ID attribute, I have a position method. So this is the advantage of using Visual Studio, importing the DLLs, is you can actually see the interfaces that you're going to have to work with. The only other command we need is going to be called recall. And in the game, you'll type /recall to use it. So the first thing we're going to do here is, if the player has not set a home, then we don't want to, or we're just going to show them a message telling them that they can't do this. If they do have a home set, let's send them to it. And again, I know that the iPlayer interface has these functions, either from looking at the interface in Visual Studio or going back to the Oxide documentation. Gives you a little bit here, a little bit of information. So there it tells you about the player.teleport function and how to retrieve the player's position too. That should be all we need to do. So I will copy my plugin over to my server. If we check the console, it's been reloaded. And now I go into my game. My home has been set to my current location. Let's run over here for a minute and then use recall. And boom, we're back where we started. And then we can, you know, if we don't really trust it, let's fly all the way across the map, right? Boom, we're back home. That's all there is to it. Really simple example, making a very basic mod in Rust. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit subscribe. Check out the links below. I usually live stream on Twitch a few times a week, doing some kind of coding or software development, game development, all that kind of good stuff. I know it's been over a year since I made a Rust modding video, but people keep sending me messages asking me if I'm going to make more, and I finally decided to give it a shot. So we'll see. If you enjoyed this format, let me know, and maybe we'll keep going.